The year is 2006, and a brand new weird LEGO sim has entered the arena. This new LEGO sim would be Exo Force, a sim that at the time wasn't too big, but is looked back super fondly on nowadays. Now, ever since I started doing these videos taking a look at older LEGO sims, LEGO Exo Force has always interested me quite a bit. You see, LEGO Exo Force is a sim that is kind of taking a lot of inspiration from anime, more specifically mecha anime. And that to me is just such a goated idea for a LEGO sim. Like, genuinely, an amazing idea for a LEGO sim. And we don't really get any real anime type LEGO sims at all. I mean, we got One Piece this year, and for LEGO Originals, we have Monkey Kid, which is kind of an anime, kind of not. It's like how Avatar is kind of an anime type of thing. Like, this was really trying to capture that mecha anime market. And nowadays, these sets have become super fondly looked back upon by the wider LEGO community, many people saying it was one of the best LEGO sims ever created. So in today's video, we are going to be taking a in-depth look at Exo Force, its history, all the sets, and what really went wrong with LEGO Exo Force. LEGO Exo Force would begin its run in January of 2006. And this first batch of sets for Exo Force were very, very interesting. Both the good guys, which were all of these, like, anime protagonists, like, very stereotypical anime protagonists, each got their own mech, with some of them being their standalone sets, and some being included in bigger sets. Along with the villains, which, to me, the villains of this theme are very, very interesting. They're these, like, robot little goofy goobers, these silly little guys that come in bronze and silver. And these little robots are so unique, weirdly, for a LEGO sim. You know, we get some goons, some henchmen every once in a while in LEGO sims. However, I think these guys just look super, super cool. And I don't know, I'm just a sucker for robots. I just love these little guys. They're awesome. And their mechs go really hard, too. I mean, take a look at the fire vulture here. This is so cool. We also got these little, like, small sets with, like, these mini-mechs with Sentry and Uplink, which are some very weird names for sets, but I always love when LEGO sims do this, having a smaller, cheaper, affordable little mech, and then the bigger, more expensive mechs. However, in 2006, LEGO was still pretty on their pricing, but, you know, I always love when they have these small little $5 mechs here. I mean, those are always so cool. But the theme isn't just mechs. We did get some locations and other types of vehicles. Sets like the Sonic Phantom, Striking Venom, and Mobile Defense Tank offered a bit more variety to the LEGO sim, with my personal favorite out of all of those being the Mobile Defense Tank. I weirdly love the orange color going on here. The big, like, Gatling gun on top looks way too cool, and overall, I don't know if it's just the shreds or whatever, this just looks like such a cool little vehicle. I absolutely love this design. They also had two location-based sets with the Gate Assault, which included a little gate, a small mini-mech, a slightly bigger mech for a protagonist, and this little buggy, which kind of resembles a Halo Warthog a little bit. It is a little weird. The theme does have a lot of inspiration from the Halo video game series, as I could tell. Like, it may just be coincidences. However, I do see some similarities, especially with some later sets. And then the Sentai Fortress, which is every Exo Force enjoyer's, like, dream set here. This set is crazy. It is a gigantic gate, a gigantic, like, fortress, as the name would suggest, that includes a bunch of minifigures, a bunch of villains, a gold little goober, which is always cool to see, a big full-sized mech for a protagonist, and a small little, like, mini-mech, kind of, for the other protagonists. And overall, these first wave of sets were super cool. I also just want to give a shout out to the Bridgewalker and White Lightning set, which is such an interesting little guy. He kind of looks like a Bionicle in a weird way. He looks weird, and I kind of mess with him. However, he is carrying way too much firepower. That is a, quite frankly, ridiculous amount. But overall, this first wave for LEGO Exo Force was very good. Along with this first wave of LEGO Exo Force, they also introduced a small little, I don't want to say mini-series, they were used as promotional advertisements for Exo Force that were fully animated in, quite frankly, the worst style known to man. However, it did expand on a little bit of the lore of the robots trying to eradicate the humans, and the gold one being their leader, which is kind of cool. It is cool to get some lore for all these guys, and honestly, an Exo Force full series would have gone pretty hard, okay? I'm just saying, it would have been pretty cool, let's be honest. However, I do want to mention that there are just a little bit of Ninjago stuff, like, sprinkled in here with the old, like, sensei training the next generation. Overall, like, I know Ninjago didn't exist at this point. However, it is kind of cool to see, like, where the inspirations for Ninjago originally came from, and you can see some of that inspiration get sourced back to Exo Force, which I always find really cool. Around the beginning of Exo Force's time, we also got a lot of other extended media other than the commercials. And by other extended media, I mean comic books and video games. Now, none of these are too noteworthy. There's way too many comics to cover, and quite frankly, they don't really include that much that's interesting. They just kind of exist. You could go out there and find them as well. There were also a few games which existed on LEGO's website at one point. However, they didn't really do too much. I mean, they were just there. However, all this was just weird to me because I feel like it just didn't do a great job of actually getting the Exo Force name out there. I don't know, might just be me, but I feel like those are a weird way to convey stuff, you know? 2007 would roll around and we would get Wave 2 of Exo Force. And to be honest, it was a bit worse, to say the least. Now, I don't think it was a bad wave or anything, but I do think the sets are significantly less varied. It is, for the most part, all mechs. We still got all the good guy mechs, a few bad guy mechs. We did get some cool stuff like the Saddle Crawler, which is kind of cool. But even the non-mech based sets were just The Mobile Devastator, just, I'm gonna be honest, the lime green wheels are just not really working for me. It looks way too square. It's like a weird box, and I don't know, my brain has a hard time, like, wrapping its head around what's even happening in this set. It's a weird one, to say the least. Same thing with Fight for the Golden Tower, which I guess is, this seems equivalent to the Temple of Light. Again, another weird Ninjago similarity, which I don't know if that's intentional or not, but who knows, really. In my opinion, the cracks were really starting to show with this one. Like, sir, don't get me wrong, there were still some good sets here and there, but overall, I think they were definitely a lot weaker than the first year, and it's definitely missing a lot of that variety and cool vehicle design that the first year of Exo Force did indeed have. And we would still have one more year of Exo Force to talk about, the final year for Exo Force. This year would be 2008, where the Jungles line of Exo Force would indeed come out. And we got a lot less sets this year. Like, a lot less sets. However, to be honest, I think it was a genuine improvement over the last year. We did get a lot less mechs. We only got 3 mechs this time around. And sure, they look alright. I think the Assault Tiger and Chameleon Hunter, as goofy as those names are, aren't actually that bad of mechs. I don't know if they're as good as the original OG Exo Force mechs, but you know, they're still pretty good. Also, Tahu Fire Sword spotted. However, the 4 other sets we got that weren't mechs were some pretty cool vehicles. The Arachnoid Stalker was a pretty interesting little spider-inspired vehicle. The Dark Panther was a purple Exo Force vehicle for the first time, which honestly didn't look that bad. And the Hybrid Rescue Tank gives me some Mobile Assault Tank vibes, with it still being a new style of vehicle for the theme. And, you know, I do respect that quite heavily. I think the set does look pretty good. Now, for this video, I did actually purchase a LEGO Exo Force set from this year, 2008, to see if we could get to a bottom of why these sets didn't really do well. Spoiler alert, I didn't really do that. I ended up really liking the set I picked up. The set I picked up was the Storm Lasher, a enemy Iron Drone vehicle for Exo Force. Now, I will also point out the similarities to the Halo UNSC Hornet. It's literally the same. It's the same vehicle. But even with that aside, I do actually love this little vehicle. The front section with the 2 Gatling guns is so overkill and so great. I love it. Same with the little rockets on top. I love that. Admittedly, not too much room to store your little Iron Drone, but you know, it's not too cramped in there. And the rest of the vehicle is small and slim, yes, but it still works and looks pretty good. I like the propellers that are made out of these like orc swords from Lord of the Rings. And like castle. On the back, there's this little build for like a bug guy. He's pretty cool. I mess with him heavily. And on the back, there's this little, like, area back here which I could see being used as, like, a carrying handle. It's mostly used to just support it, so it doesn't, like, top over from being too back heavy. However, you can also use that very easily as a carrying handle, and I think that's really nice that that's included, you know. Overall, this set is really cool. I personally love it. The Iron Drone figure is very great. The set overall was constructed very well. Honestly, great set. Would recommend. So at the end of the day, Exo Force would be discontinued at the end of 2007 and, you know, would have its final wave released in 2008, and Exo Force would sadly die out. Now, this isn't too uncommon for LEGO themes around this time. It really isn't. Most LEGO themes lasted around this 2 to 3 year long mark. However, I think Exo Force is just such wasted potential. Mecha anime has so many, like, ideas in it. Like, there's so much rich history with that you can pull from, and it sounds like, with, you know, how much LEGO loves their mechs, it would have been the perfect idea for a long-lasting LEGO theme. However, I feel like LEGO, especially in Wave 2, really squandered its potential, and honestly, I can kind of see why it died out. Like, there is so much potential with, like, a TV series, or more sets that built upon the first wave. And, you know, even though Wave 2 wasn't that bad, it still just didn't build upon Wave 1 like I would have liked it to. And at the end of the day, I don't find it too surprising that Exo Force sadly disappeared. However, it's still really sad that this kind of goated LEGO theme, at least in concept, like at least on paper, Exo Force is kind of the perfect LEGO theme. But they just didn't do anything with it. Like, it was there, it existed, but LEGO sadly just squandered its potential. I don't know, it kind of sucks because part of me believes that, like, if Exo Force was allowed to exist and thrive in a bigger way, it may have become one of the staples of LEGO, but sadly, it didn't. And that is where our Exo Force journey sadly comes to a close. Exo Force is weird, because unlike a lot of themes like Power Miners or Bionicle, which, you know, Power Miners, it existed, it had its few years, and you know, even though some people would have liked more power miners, you never really feel like the potential of power miners was really that squandered, you know. Same with, like, Atlantis or whatever, like, cool seems, but, you know, I don't feel like there's anything really being squandered there. You know, it had its time in the sun, and everyone looks back upon those fondly. And, you know, Bionicle had so much time, made so many sets, and, you know, eventually just petered out from there, but, you know, everyone loves Bionicle. It's probably one of the things that LEGO is most known for. However, Exo Force is such a weird case because I feel like in some alternate reality, this could have been as big as Ninjago if given the love that it really deserved. So, this is a lot more of a sad case than some other videos, because I just leave this being sad that the potential here wasn't expanded upon. But there's nothing you could really do about it now. Thank you all so much for watching this video on LEGO Exo Force. Let me take you to the outro. Thank you all so much for watching this video. We're back. We're uploading more and more frequently. It's been a while since we've uploaded 2 videos in 1 month. We are back. We are so back. We're doing stuff again. I'm really happy to be uploading more frequently. You know, I haven't uploaded that many videos this year, as you may be able to tell, but, you know, making a lot of these videos, especially this one, which little behind the scenes here, this video took like 2 months to actually find a set on Bricklink that would actually ship to me. Because of some certain tariffs and some certain things, a lot of like Bricklink sellers that were selling this wouldn't ship to the US, and also I wasn't paying like $30 shipping, so I ended up just sitting in limbo, stalking listings, trying to find a good one. And, you know, I managed to find the Storm Lasser, which, you know, great set, love it. Hopefully one day, I could actually pick up a lot more of these Exo Force sets, because I think they're honestly really cool, especially Wave 1. I want a lot of the Wave 1 sets. They're all really great sets. I want to pick more of them up, and maybe one day I will. I don't know if I'll do a sequel video to this, though, because I don't really know what I talk about other than, like, showing off the set. Maybe I do, like, a second channel video on Exo Force. You know, that could be kind of cool. But, yeah. That's about it for this video. I do have another video coming out fairly soon. You know, we're going back to back. That video is going to be massive. It is a really big video. A big deep dive into a LEGO thing that's very close to home. And the sad, unfortunate demise of it. So, yeah, that's really about it for this video. See you all next time. Bye-bye.